Hey everybody, my name is Dr. Duncan and I'm going to be your professor for Math 1530. Let me say I'm really excited about working with all of you and I can't wait to get started. I know this semester is going to be odd and different to say the least, but know that I am here to help and support you in any way possible. What I wanted to start things off with is just a video on kind of the layout of what I'm using D2L for and how to prepare for next week when we will meet in person at some point. So first off, when you go into D2L and you click on our class, this will be what you see. You will see this welcome video here. It's not posted yet, obviously, because it's not finished being made, but it will be here. In terms of the news area, classes are going to use that differently. I don't intend to use the announcements area in D2L that often because we're going to be meeting in person. However, if we end up shifting to virtual or something, that may change. So I may end up using the news area. But for now, I don't initially intend on using it that much. Again, I know that's going to be different for every class. The most important thing that you're going to use D2L for is accessing your homework and your tests and your quizzes. All of that is going to be done through a service called MyStatLab. It is a third-party website that we're going to be using. Some of you may be familiar with it. I don't know how you've used MyStatLab in the past, but I have embedded it directly into our D2L class, so you won't actually go to their website if you've done that in the past. You'll actually just end up clicking here. There's another way to do it, and I'll show you that in a second. So that's the biggest thing that you're going to use D2L for. I'm going to save that for the end of this video because it's probably going to take the longest. So what I thought I would first start out by doing is just showing you some things that are on D2L for our class. So if you go to the content area, you're going to see a couple of different things. So the first thing you're going to see is the start here. So there's where you're going to be your syllabus and your schedule. So let's go through these one at a time. So your syllabus. I'm not going to go through all of this, but I do want to point out a couple things. Obviously, there's my contact information, and it says don't use D2L to email me. You're welcome to do that, but if you email me through your MTSU email, it will come directly to my phone, which is obviously a lot quicker. But you're welcome to use D2L. I'll be logging onto it every day. Office hours, those are going to be held virtually, so these are the times that I'll be available in a Zoom link. I don't exactly know what that looks like on your side yet. That's something I need to figure out, but once I do, I'll share that with you next week, and I'll show you where you can just click on the Zoom link at any point during these times, and I should be there to help answer any kind of questions that you have. If these times don't work for you and you need to meet outside those times, please let me know. The only software that you're going to be required to get, or not software, the only thing you're going to be required to get for our class is the MyStatLab access code. It is around $100, and I'll talk more about that in just a second. But since it's here, that's going to be the only thing you have to buy. It will come with a virtual version of your book. So in terms of you having a hard copy of the book, that will be up to you. You don't have to have a calculator for our class. If you know somebody else in a different stats class, they're probably going to be required to have a calculator. I'm not going to ask you to do that. Since we are web assisted, we're going to be online a lot. I'm going to allow you to use StatCrunch, which I would actually prefer anyways. So you have access to that through your MyStatLab access code that you're going to have to get. Past that, I'm going to scroll all the way down until we get to the grades. Just want to point out a couple of things about the percentages and such. So you see the breakdown of your overall grade here. Notice that your test and your final exam obviously weigh a pretty significant portion of your overall grade. There will be 4 unit tests. I'll talk about that more in a second. They will be comprehensive. One of them I'm calling the midterm because it happens at midterm. And then you have the other ones that are obviously there. Homework is off MyStatLab. I'll show you again where that is, but it does weigh in a whole letter grade of your overall grade. You got class participation because you are going to be participating in class. You'll have to Zoom into classes. So I want to give you some credit for all the hassle that you're going to be going through for that. And then obviously your final exam is 20% of your grade. You do have to take the final exam to pass the course. If you do not, if you don't show up to take the final, you don't pass the class. Again, that's not my policy. It's just general policy. All right. Let's move on to the schedule. So if you just click to the right arrow, that'll take you to our course schedule. This is tentative. You'll see at the top, it's a plan. It is only a plan. I'm sure things will change. So let's talk about a couple of things that are on the schedule. So what you see is kind of a plan that I have for every day. I'm sure we will get off of that. But it just kind of gives you an idea of where we stand in terms of the plan. So let me say a couple of things. every Friday, which are the days that are highlighted in red, those are going to be days that we all meet virtually. So you see that as number 2. Number 1. All Friday meetings will be virtual. They are in red. They will be held using Zoom in D2L, and I'll show you where those links are at in just a second. In terms of exams, so exams are going to be on the day that we review for that exam. So I have planned it, and hopefully it stays this way, for our reviews to fall on Fridays. I know that may not be optimal for everyone, but I thought Friday would be a nice day to have that in terms of the test. So my plan is, for example, on September 18th, you will come to class. We'll review for the test in class, and then by the end of the day, you have to take the exam. And those are going to be done on My Stat Lab. I say My Math Lab, same thing. My Stat Lab, My Math Lab. Same thing for your midterm, your test 3, and your test 4. Your midterm is going to be proctored. We'll talk about that later more. You know what I mean. And your final exam is going to be proctored as well. The final exam is going to be the thing that is not on My Stat Lab. It's most likely going to be on D2L, but again, I'll give you all those details later. In terms of the other days, you see number 4 here, and I'll talk more about this in a second. It says you're going to be in teams, and Team A is always going to meet on Mondays, and Team B is always going to meet on Wednesdays. I'm going to show you that in the next slide, but just FYI, know that on Fridays we will all meet virtually. And again, I expect you to be there on the days that you're supposed to be there, and on Fridays I expect you to Zoom in. So we'll be taking attendance as normal, right? And let me say this, on the day that you are supposed to be in class, then I expect you to be there. On the days that you're not supposed to be in class, I expect you to be Zooming into the class. So you will be expected to be in our class every class meeting. Sometimes it will just be in person, and sometimes it will be virtual. I'm going to show the next slide that I have here for my Monday, Wednesday, Friday class that meets at 10 o'clock. I can switch this as well for the 1 o'clock so we can look at it. But I just want to show you an example. So if you look at this, the way that the spreadsheet is played out, I have everybody's name, and then I have you're either going to be green or yellow. If you are yellow, then you are going to meet in class on Monday. If you are green, that means do not come to the classroom on Monday. You will Zoom in on Monday. You will not come to the class on Monday. If you are green, you will come to class next Wednesday. If you're yellow, do not come to class on Wednesday. So I expect you in person on the day that you see your name highlighted. So on Monday, I expect you to be there Monday. On Wednesday, I expect you to be there Monday. And again, if you're not in class in person, I expect you Zooming into the class. So again, for my other class, here is your breakdown. These breakdown lists are also in the email that I sent you with this video, so you should have a hard copy of that, a soft copy of that, but it's also embedded here in D2L. Guys, again, I'm not going to change the days that you come in class and days that you don't. I can't accommodate to everybody's schedule. This was just picked the way that it is, so this is just the way it's going to be. But again, during class time, I expect you either to be in class in person on the day that you're supposed to be there, and then virtually if it's not your day, right? And then again, remember on Fridays, we all Zoom in, okay? All right, so if you have questions about that, please let me know. I'm going to go back to the table of contents area. The other thing that's here is the chapter summaries. These are videos that you can take a look at. I've broken those down by test 1 and test 2, but then after that, everything kind of gets muddied together. So you should know, though, based on what we're talking about in class, where we're at in these videos. And if you get lost there, just let me know. Okay, a couple other things in the D2L shell before we talk about My Stat Lab. There's not really anything else I'm going to use in here except the grades. You can click on the grades and it will show you everything, which is really nice about having My Stat Lab embedded in the D2L shell, because all of your grades will automatically transfer and you should know where you are on your grades at any moment. One other thing is the Zoom section, so we'll hit the Zoom button. You'll see that I already have Zoom links set up. So for those of you that are supposed to come to class on Monday, you don't have to worry about this. But for those of you that are not coming to class on Monday, I expect to see you through this Zoom link. So you'll just hit Zoom, and then again, you'll come to this link and you can zoom into the class. So again, I expect to see everybody on Monday, just half of you in person and then half of you through the Zoom link. And then obviously on Wednesday, those of you that came on Monday, you'll use the Zoom link on Wednesday. And those of you that came in on Monday, you'll be in person on Wednesday. Friday, everybody's going to click this Zoom link because we're all Zooming in on Friday. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. You'll notice there's not a Monday here because that's a, oh, I have the Labor Day wrong. I'll switch that, but there's a Monday that's not supposed to, the 7th, that's Labor Day. I'll fix that. I'm glad I saw that. Okay, let's talk about My Stat Lab with the couple of minutes that I want to use here. So there's two ways to access the My Stat Lab. Once you log in, you can click here, and then you can click on this link here, or you can go to the content area and you can click on My Stat Lab. Right? And when you click on My Stat Lab, the reason this is useful is it takes you to specific areas as opposed to just the course home. So if you want to go straight to the homework, you can click here, go straight to the book, so on and so forth. Now, the first time that you click any of these links, it's going to look different. So I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a second. Again, let me reiterate, you have three options. You can buy the access code from the bookstore. You can buy a hard copy of the book and get the access code with it from the bookstore, or you can buy access directly from the website. Whichever one you want to do of those is up to you. Now, when you first click on the links to the My Stat Lab, it's going to give you a screen that looks basically like this. If you have a previous Pearson account, you are welcome to use it. You don't have to. The only reason that you really need to is if you're retaking this class. Then you do need to remember your Pearson account so you can not have to pay for the registration again. A lot of you, I imagine, are going to have to create an account. Once you click that button, it's going to take you to something like this where you type in some information, username and password and such, and then it's going to take you to a screen that looks like this. From here is where you're going to have the option of entering in the access code that you purchased from the bookstore, or you can purchase directly from this website. Again, it's up to you. I think there is a small price discrepancy between buying the access code from the MTSU bookstore versus buying it here directly from the website. Either way, it's up to you. I do expect all of you to be registered on My Stat Lab within, say, the first 36 hours of having access to D2L, which means I hope you're all registered by Monday or Tuesday at the latest. The way you can do that is you can all hit Get Temporary Access. Again, that will allow you into the My Stat Lab without paying for it initially, but you only have 14 days of doing that. After that, it's going to shut you out, and you will still be held accountable for the homework and such that you missed. All right, if you're unfamiliar with My Stat Lab, I'm not going to go into D2L into too much detail, but it basically looks like this. You'll click on homework, and then you'll click on a section of homework that you want to go to, and then you'll click on a problem. This is pretty user-friendly. Students don't generally have problems with navigating My Stat Lab. Okay. Whew. That was a long video for having a video. I usually like to keep these at like 5 minutes. So we're right around 14 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. I hope that this answers a lot of your questions. I'm sure that you still have more, so don't hesitate to reach out and send those. Guys, once again, let me reiterate, I really look forward to working with you. I look forward to seeing some of you Monday. Again, if you come Monday and you're not supposed to be there Monday, I'm going to ask you to leave. So same thing on Wednesday. If you're not supposed to be there Wednesday, I'm going to ask you to leave. So please make sure you see that Excel list about when you're supposed to come. If you have questions at all, please let me know. And guys, again, I look forward to working with you. And like I said, I look forward to seeing all of you Monday, whether it's in person or virtually. Thanks.